Hello and welcome to the Special Response Diver Podcast. I'm Jordan Harvell, your host, and as always, I'm so excited that you were here joining us for another episode. Listen, I just want to say thanks. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for listening to this. Thank you for tuning in, whatever you want to call it. I'm just super grateful because I honestly don't know who all listens to anything that we say on this thing. But I am appreciative that it's going out to people that it can help. And we know this because we've gotten some phone calls and emails and some responses from individuals, from teams that have taken what we're talking about, what we're teaching, and started to apply it in their own teams. And I'm glad that that's going out. I don't know who everybody is that listens to it, but if it is helping you, I'm glad. And thanks for checking us out. And I also want to say, if it is helping you, share it. Give it to some other people that you're like, hey, listen, remember that last time you went diving and it didn't go so well? Hey, check these guys out. They might be able to help with that. And so that's where I want to just get this whole party started today with. And today's kind of going to be a ramble session. And it's really just all about SRDI. So total shameless plug on what we're going to be talking about today. But that's what I want to bring you into, who we are and what we're about and why we're doing what we're doing. Now, you've listened to some previous conversations, some previous episodes. You can kind of hear our history and where we came from and all that jazz. I'll save that story for you to listen there. But today, I want to talk about what we offer. What can you actually get and learn from SRDI? And, we were actually the National Academy of Police Diving. That's in some previous conversations. But we changed to SRDI because we were talking primarily to law enforcement, and fire departments were like, there's nothing we can learn from you because your name says National Academy of Police Diving. Therefore, we are exempt, which is not true. It's just not true. You've got a lot of the fundamentals of diving that apply no matter what you're doing in public safety. And listen, if you're like, but we're all rescue and police departments are all recovery, and well, you can't rescue anybody if you still can't find them. So those principles, they still apply. So that's why we changed our name to Special Response Diving International. It's a little more encompassing, but also to reach. And we train fire departments. We have, in fact, I believe one of the best teams in the country is a fire department in Texas, and they all train through us. And they're learning the basics, but they're taking it to their area, their conditions, and they're doing really phenomenal work with that. Here's what we do. Step around the campfire, listen to my tales of what we are trying to accomplish with this organization and who we're trying to teach. And it really comes down to the 3 certifications we offer. That's it, by the way. We only have 3. You don't need 15 certifications to then be quote unquote qualified to be a public safety diver. Actually, our very first certification is Special Response Diver. It's where our name comes from. That's the certification we've been offering since 1988. The Special Response Diver certification is a 5-year working certification. That means you don't need to renew except for once every 5 years. And that is giving you all of the information you need, all of the fundamentals and the practical application you need to be successful as a public safety diver. If you don't take another course from us ever, you will be successful. Your team will be successful with that initial certification. Now, just like anything, if you don't go out and practice, if you don't go out and train, if you don't actually go out and do it, you'll lose it. But as far as getting the knowledge, the attitudes, and the mindset for what you need to be able to do, this is it. Special Response Diver. Now we have Special Response Diver, and then we have Special Response Tender. And the tender is really, you're learning all the same stuff academically, but you're not doing the in-water portion. However, you understand everything that's going on underwater. It's so that if you have patrol officers or support personnel, they can serve as tenders on the surface to help with an active investigation or an active recovery, and they know what the diver is doing. They can actually think like the diver is thinking so that they're all going to be more successful. That's Special Response Diver and Special Response Tender. Our next certification is Advanced Recovery Specialist. And now that one is taking a little bit more, it's a little bit further push into how recoveries work, how the physics and physiology of the underwater world works to help you. You're really understanding that the water is there trying to push everything out of it. It doesn't want it in there. Sometimes it's just not strong enough. And so we're manipulating that those physics to be able to bring things to the surface. We're talking earth movers, planes that have crashed and are broken into multiple pieces, large search areas, really technical kind of stuff. But the core of that course is helping you think different about recoveries. How do you get creative? How can you use literally garbage to bring something to the surface? And that course is helping individuals become a little bit more confident, becoming more understanding of what's going on, so that when they show up, they're not like, oh my gosh, this is going to be so intense, or I'm a little intense. No. It's like, hey, this is not a big deal. I've pulled bigger, or I've held up something off the bottom with less, kind of thing. It's a little weird to say out loud now that I'm saying that, but you get the idea. It's really just trying to help you get to a more confident level of pulling large items out of the water or getting those items recovered. So we have Special Response Diver, Advanced Recovery Specialist, and then our third certification is Dive Scene Commander. This is for your dive team leaders or dive team coordinators that may be over multiple teams or over several units within a fire department that has, all these different regions or areas that they may be covering. But a dive scene commander they're taking a better understanding of the business of running a dive team. That's what that course is for. You're not going to learn anything new about recoveries or of doing searches, but you are going to have a better understanding of how to lead those teams, how to talk to your brass, how to deal with media, how to deal with public relations, how to deal with better, more strategic options for managing your equipment, your gear, your vehicles, your whatever resources you have, your boats. All those things are all falling under one leader. And it can't be some paper pusher who's in an office all day. It needs to be somebody who actually dives, somebody who actually can get out there and do the job. But it also gives you tools to be able to do continued training to keep your team sharp and keep the new people up to speed. So those are our three core certifications. And that's really it. That's the bread and butter of everything. It all starts with SRD. It all starts there. And that's really where it can end for some departments, for some teams. That's all you need. But we also have some specialties, like everybody's got to have their specialties, but we have underwater crime scene photography. We have nitrox. By the way, if you do SRD, the Special Response Diver course, you get nitrox included in that. If you don't already have it, we'll certify you in that during that course. And then you have full face mask and comms, dry suit, and then we have a tactical certification that's for police departments and some military. We do less military now, but the police departments, if you have a SWAT team and they just want to add a water capability, we're not going to teach you anything you don't know as a SWAT officer or on a specialized team like that. But we are going to equip you with a better understanding of how to utilize those skills and the water together. So we're teaching you where the shore ends and the water begins, getting you in the water, getting you out of the water, using that as a delivery vehicle or as a tactical option in any kind of scenario. So that's another specialty that we offer. All of this is taught by our special response diving instructors. Okay? Our instructors, you cannot pay for this course, by the way. Most agencies you go to, you're like, I want to become an instructor. I want to do this for a hobby or a living or whatever idea you have to become an instructor. And like sport diving, you go, you pay the money, you're going to get a certification. Oh, I have to do so much swimming. I have to do. We care less about that stuff. We care more about, can you teach from experience? There is not a single special response diving instructor, SRDI instructor, that is going to teach you from theory. We've all done it. We are not going to talk about how to recover a dead body if we've never done it. We're not going to talk about what it was like to find a gun, a knife, some kind of weapon. We're not going to talk about what it was like to recover evidence or to be able to pull vehicles out of the water. We're not going to talk about that stuff and teach you if we've never done it. And so those are things you've got to get experience to be able to even apply to become an instructor. And when you do apply, and if we accept you, then we're going to go through basically a 6-month mentorship and training to bring you up to speed to teach the way we teach, but also really kind of vet your experience, vet your understanding, and see if you're somebody who would be qualified for that. We're super picky, and we're really proud of that fact because there's so many instructors out there that just are teaching from a book. It's, oh, cool, I did it. Like, I know There's an agency that just this year, they're one of the top 3 sport diving agencies. They've introduced a public safety diving certification. This is a sport diving agency, has introduced a public safety diving certification that they're partnered with another public safety agency, but the people teaching it are sport divers. You don't actually have to have experience. You could go to a course, like a seminar, you get your certification as like a crossover or whatever. I don't know. It's totally BS. And these people are coming in and learning, oh, now I'm a public safety diving instructor. Sure, on paper, but what experience do they have? And you'll hear me talk about all the time, vet your instructors. You've got to know who's teaching you. Before they get in the water, before they get into a classroom, before you do anything, ask them what their experience is. Why should they be able to teach you? That's what our instructors are doing. You just need to know, and still, please feel free to question them and vet them. But just know that we have spent a lot of time vetting, developing, training, mentoring, and getting those individuals up to where they can teach all of it. They can teach all of these courses. When you become an instructor, there's no instructor, instructor trainer, instructor educator. You're an instructor. That's it. You can do it all. And so this is how we've built this organization. This is why we've built the organization the way we have, is because we want to make dive teams successful. Our mission statement, the whole reason we exist, is because we know the challenges public safety divers face underwater. Why? Because we've done it and we faced them ourselves. That's why we've created the training and the resources that we have so that we can help those dive teams in any scenario they encounter. Any scenario. Ice, warm water, dirty, clear, tanglements, open ocean. It doesn't matter. Current, stagnant, any scenario, we will be able to give them the tools and the resources through the training. And so that when they encounter those, every dive is safe and successful. Every single one. Wouldn't you love that for your team? To be like, every dive we go out is safe and successful. If it is, then check out our courses. Again, my shameless plug. And the reason I'm talking about this is because I believe passionately that this training matters. I believe that it makes a difference. To my core, I believe that it actually helps dive teams be more successful. If I didn't, I wouldn't be doing this. I really wouldn't. I wouldn't have invested the majority of my life into this organization and this training because I sincerely believe that it makes it. And I came from the bottom, now I'm here, right? I came from special response diver, a young guy that was like, I don't know what the heck I'm doing and every dark shadow is going to eat me, to having a successful public safety diving career here in South Florida and in other states and in parts of the Caribbean. I've done this stuff. I've designed the lifts. I pulled things out of the water. I have done the technical. I've done the investigations. I've done all those things that you need to be able to say, I can teach from experience. And now I've seen other people out there in the world. I've seen how these other agencies train and don't equip people all the way. So when you check us out, if you're looking at getting some training and you're like, hey, let me check these guys out, let me see, and you happen to be listening to this episode, then take a look, see what you can find. See if it's something that's going to work for your team. And if it is, call us. If you want to get your team up to speed on a level that is not going to be matched anywhere else, call us. We will be so excited to come alongside you and equip your team with the resources and the tools it needs to be super successful. Okay, I'm going to get off my soapbox now. I'm going to put it to the corner. I'll probably pull it out another episode, as I always do. But I am just, again, really grateful that you listen. And if any of this stuff is helping you, then let us know. Let us know by sharing the episode. Let us know by shooting a little comment in the show notes or wherever you're consuming this podcast. If you can shoot us an email, you can send us something and just let us know, hey, this is what we're getting out of it. And if you have questions, like we have some people that will just ask questions, hey, we were thinking about this, and you may know the answer. We're not charging for that. Doesn't cost you anything. Just ask your question, and we're happy to help you out. Well, that's it. That's all I've got. Thank you again for listening. I hope you have a clearer understanding of what we do, I guess is what I'm trying to get at. But if you still have questions, like I said, call us and we're happy to help you out. Until next time.